Mavs fans, friends, welcome to Pod Maverick After Dark, not group therapy. Why is that called that in the title? That's because I did
foreshadowing.
Whatever. That's right. Nope. There we go. There's the correct one. I'm Kirk Henderson, joined as always by Josh Bowe. We're right in the thick of the regular season doldrums. This time, the Dallas Mavericks played another nationally televised game. This one on NBC/Peacock against the Boston Celtics. Somehow another home game.
Yep. I think this is the last one for not the last one for a while, but I think it's going to turn around.
So they've played 29 games at home, and that would be, and then they've played 50 total games. So
yeah. They have one more home game on Thursday, and then it is hilarious how many road games they play.
Just so many
after Thursday from now to the end of March.
Which, I mean, for our sake, a 7:00 start time, this is when the Mavericks game should start. Mark Cuban has given me repeated explanations as to why the Mavericks start at 7:30, and I get the DFW area of it all, but a 7:00 start time is a normal central time zone start time with really like a 7:15 tip. So we're here talking to you at 9:45. I feel a little better. It's like we're just to the age now where after 10 o'clock I slowly start to turn into a pumpkin, even though it's I'll stay up till 2 a.m. So this one is they got in, they got out. It was actually a relatively quick game. At spots there was like a late challenge by Joe Mazzulla where somebody should have threw him directly into a fan. How dare he? The Mavericks played basketball. Cooper Flagg is good, and the rest of the Mavericks are not so good.
John, all right, that's it.
We'll see you tomorrow night. What was Cooper Flagg's box score? Because I was kind of having a weird night at home, and I looked up, and I know he had a ton of points in the fourth, but what was his deal tonight?
36, 9, and 6. His third straight 30-point game. I think that's the most consecutive 30-point games now for a teenager in the history of the NBA.
Can I stop you? You and I are particularly annoyed at the connotation of teenager.
Yeah, I know.
It's just stupid. I don't know why it sounds stupid to me. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, and it's funny, try not to bring up Luka, but it's becoming that Luka thing. Remember in Luka's first 2 years, it felt like every other game it was like, and Luka is the first guy to do this since, Joe McPlummer in 1948 in the Wheat Bowl or something. And it's like,
right.
Oh, and Cooper is now starting to do that, which is just ridiculous. Just forget why it happened. Just the Mavericks having probably two of the best young generational talents of the last 10, 20, since
this
LeBron,
century.
Since LeBron, maybe. Yeah. It's just it's nutty. Cooper was great. He was on an island, literally just on an island. He made a lot of this might be his best passing game of the season. I thought he did a great job distributing the ball. The Mavericks could make shots because they have a team of non-shooters besides Clay.
Then Max Christie,
and those two guys aren't making shots.
Max Christie had one. Max Christie had one. It was from the right wing, and he missed it wide left to the point to where I thought he was going to stick his hand in the air and be like, "Is there a breeze?" Because he had some just atrocious misses, which were very funny.
The next step for Max is definitely movement shooting. I feel like spot up, stand still. He's lights out. That movement stuff when he's not even necessarily needing to make pull up threes, just coming off screens. I feel like it looks off when he shoots. When he doesn't have his feet set from a standstill position. But that's okay, because again, he's relatively young. That's something for him to work on, movement shooting. But yeah, he's been in a rough spot. I mean, if him and Clay aren't making shots, then you're the Mavericks. It's almost impossible for them to win. They got lucky that this was as close as it was because the Celtics couldn't make their threes. The Celtics only were 33%. If the Celtics make 37% of their threes, which is I don't have it in front of me, but I'm assuming that's probably near their season average. So not even a hot night. If the Celtics were just average from three, this is a 25-point loss. It felt more competitive than it should have been because the Mavericks just play hard and then the Celtics were missing shots, but the math was too much. The Celtics still made 4 more threes than the Mavericks. So 12-point advantage at the 3-point line and a 10-point win. That's kind of it. And then the other part of it is the Celtics were missing threes, but they were scoring like whatever they wanted to do in the paint. I think they had 58 points in the paint. I don't have it up right now, but they shot awesome in the paint. And some of that is the Mavericks were trying to run them off the line. So the Celtics were shooting a little bit closer to the basket more than they normally do, because they don't normally take a lot of shots at the rim, but it was very clear that the Mavericks were trying to run them off the line, but there was just nothing there. They were kind of selling out so much. They were just giving up easy pick and roll lobs, easy drop passes. I mean, just easy drives. And then the second part of it is they went to a zone in the second half. And that actually slowed down the Celtics from three, because it stopped the paint torching, and the Celtics were just kind of taking kind of lazy little movement threes, which was different than the drive and kick threes that they were getting in the first three quarters. So that was something. That's probably the best thing you could say about the Mavericks defense tonight. And then Cooper Flagg was good. And yeah, I mean, that was the game to me.
Yeah. I mean, Najee Marshall's been ass ever since he was allowed to rest a game, which there's just some real, like, this is just kind of funny because he's been a good player, but 2 games in a row, he's really looked off, you know,
missing his floater.
And we've seen this happen at times. Sometimes guys' shots just leave them. I will say that it's if you were frustrated by the Mavericks defense on Jaylen Brown, I get it, but also the way the Celtics are designed, it's 5-out offense with if they have a good isolation scorer, and as much as I think what Brown is doing is much more difficult to defend in some respects than what Tatum did to the Mavericks several years ago in the finals, because Tatum is 2 to 3 inches taller and plays a very different kind of game than Brown. And Brown was doing kind of like a tall Kyrie Irving impression with the isolation moves and the dribble stuff. He was freezing defenders. He had a little he had little these kind of midi step backs that were just quite something to behold.
He's so strong.
Yes.
He's so strong. You can't knock him off base.
Nope.
To try to challenge him. I mean, I can't. How many times did he, spin move, hesitation dribble, gets in the lane, then he did the, the pull, the kind of pull up, put your ass backward, control the flow, and the Mavericks are trying to bump him off that spot, and he just put up like a really nice soft floater or layup. He was money. I mean, they couldn't.
There's not much anybody can do. I mean, he's a fringe MVP candidate for
he's been incredible.
He's been incredible, and it's been very interesting to watch the evolution of his game throughout his entire career, and the strength. He didn't have a left hand for a long time. He really did not have a left hand, and now he does. And that sort of skill development when you're past 24, 25 is pretty impressive to me. Just enjoyed insofar as like when you're watching the Mavericks get cooked, at least if you're frustrated at the Mavericks defense, I just thought it was better offense,
Yeah. And this was just a game. I mean, it was just on principle. This is the way these teams play. The Mavericks were basically playing one arm time behind their back. Like the Celtics are the best. I think they're the best. They're close. They might be the best offense. They've been the best offense in the NBA, I think, for the last few months. Now I just kind of want to. Well, I'll look it up. While I'm talking, they shoot a ton of threes. Their offense is in overdrive. They're missing Anthony Simons because he got traded today. So that's probably someone in the chat mentioned that. That's probably why they're a little off from three. Like he was probably their best 3-point shooter.
Well, I mean, Derek, if anybody remembers the finals, like Derek White was hitting at an absurd rate. And when he is hitting, he's sort of the Celtics special sauce where he takes them from good to phenomenal. Like they don't go up one notch, they go up 2, 3. He is when he's on, it impacts the rest of everybody else. He was 1 of 8 from 3-point land.
That's been his season. He hasn't really been making a lot of shots.
But the flip side was he's like moving the ball really well. And like they just, I don't know, they're their ability to plug and play different guys. Like our former writer, Austin, he said, who the hell is number 55? And it's Baylor Shireman. And it's just like the ability to plug dudes like that in and have it work in a over the course of a season is pretty impressive. It's just like, because if you're a Mavs fan and you don't watch a lot of Eastern Conference, you're like, why is Luka Garza playing? Who is Hugo Gonzalez? Why is Jordan Walsh playing? And it's just like, this is just what Brad Stevens and the Celtics do. It's what they do. They fleeced the Bulls today and got a because everyone fleeces the Bulls, and just ended up with a team that quite realistically could make the Eastern Conference Finals, like without Tatum. Anyway, it's too much Celtics talk for this portion of the show, but I'm impressed by what they did in comparison to what the Mavericks did, and we'll talk a little bit about what the Mavericks are and are not doing in the second half of the show. The Mavericks bench just ass. They made it to a grand total of, let's see here, 4, 6, 8 field goals.
Yeah, if Clay's not making shots, I mean, who is scoring off the bench if Clay's not making shots? No Brandon Williams, no PJ Washington.
Yeah, I mean, Hardy was out there, but Hardy he gets over his skis and he tries to do too much Hardy. And it's not that he was awful or anything. He was no worse than anybody else, but it's just, he's Hardy is either really good or really just there's forgettable. Like there's no like, oh, that was a good Hardy game. It was like, okay, enough of that. Before we get close to break, because since we're going to talk trade deadline stuff after, I need to go back to Cooper. Like, we just got to mention again, I thought that was his best passing game of the season. I thought he did really well in the pick and roll. I thought he did a really good job finding both weak side 3-point shooters and the roll man. I thought he was on target. He only had 1 turnover tonight. He had 6 assists. He probably should have had like 13. I know the potential assists is tracked and usually comes out like a day. I would love to see the potential assists, which again, funny because it's like Luka all over again. But that was encouraging, and Boston's defense is not where it used to be. Like when they won the title, it's fallen off a little bit because Tatum is an all NBA level defender. They don't have Horford or Porzingis, so they don't have the rim protection they usually did. So their defense is not as fearsome, but still a really good. Like they're still good. Like you're not 33, 32 and 18 if your defense is bad. So that's still a pretty good defense that they went up against, that Cooper went up against, and some physical, like Jaylen Brown and Derek White are physical defenders that can challenge some of the stuff that he wants to do in the paint. And Cooper was pretty unfazed. There are a couple stretches where he got a little jumper happy, but that's okay because like he's gonna have to make those eventually, and he needs to take them. And you hope that he'll get more confident in it. But the rest of his game was almost flawless. Really fun to watch. And one thing I got a couple of, and granted, I over-index social media, but you're watching this game tonight, and if you're watching very Luka or like Luka adjacent looking basketball, that's just what they're deciding to run right now. Like I don't know what Coop's usage rate has been over these last several games, but
it's very high. Yeah.
So if it was a good defense he went against, why does Kirk hate him? Which player? I hate lots of players. I need to. That was from Stan the Man on Twitter. You'll tell me in a second, I'm sure. I got some comments though on social media where it's just like, this is a stagnant offense when we're running it through Coop, and it's like, okay, we'll get better players.
What else? Yeah, what do you want to do?
Yeah. Why does Kirk hate Cooper? That's a new one.
Just ignore that one.
I know. Yeah. So I saw Panda Hank note that Cooper didn't get to the free throw line till the third quarter.
Yeah, there weren't a lot of free throws in the.
He Celtics, shot 10, or no, he shot 11.
Yeah, they got into the bonus very early in the fourth,
okay. Yeah.
And they were going to the free throw line like almost every other possession. And the Celtics only shot 5 free throws as a team. Funny enough,
well,
Mavericks shot 22. So
one of the things that's like I can't with Cuban being like, look at this on. I hate public facing. This guy deserves more free throws. Things like handle that behind closed doors, in no small part because now I see it all the time. Now I was watching Cooper like kind of screaming at the TV, being like, he's getting fouled because he got rocked like 4 times in the first half. Nothing.
Yeah, he's a rookie. It happens. It happens all of them, and that's stupid. Like it shouldn't. Like, why do you have to be in the NBA for 3 years to get get calls. Like
I mean,
the politics of it is pretty stupid. But
we're not talking like hacks on the arm. We're talking full on body blows on nice little short floaters and things like that, where he's ending up on his ass. Like Cooper does not, to my experience thus far watching him, he does not foul hunt very often. He does not flop. I think he ends up on the ground due to the force of the contact. And it's Sam has somebody on the break says Sam Hauser is body checking Coop. It's like, that was what I saw. Like, you gotta call this sometimes. Like, if he gets hurt, this has been my beef with NBA officiating for a while now. I know you don't want to call every single thing under the sun. That's why the games are so inconsistent night to night. But if Cooper Flagg gets hurt because of some bullshit refereeing stuff, like, that will suck. I hope that does not happen, because they're hitting him real hard.
Do you think Cooper, because he is so physically gifted, he's a very great athlete. Now, he's obviously not in the Shaq, Giannis, LeBron, Dwight Howard percentile of athlete, I don't think.
Just because of his size.
Yeah, sure. But do you think it's going to be something like that with him, where he's so physical and he's so big and he's so strong that refs don't know how to call it because it doesn't look like the contact? You know, like Dwight went through that, Shaq went through that, LeBron. I mean, even LeBron and Giannis, where they get killed, but they don't get called it all the time because guys kind of bounce off of them sometimes because they're so physically gifted. I'm just wondering, like, is Coop destined to be in that kind of group of star where they're almost too physically dominant to?
I would love that. That's how I'm going to say that. That would be really fun to bitch about that. That would be great. Just to be the refs in a real reason, because it's like a lot of Luka's foul stuff came down to the fact that he was technically correct. Like, he would have a guy on his hip or on his back or something, and then he would want the call, and it was more him change, like, because after the 73-point game when they changed the rules that season, Luka literally stopped doing that shit. And then the rest of the year was actually a lot more fun offensively to watch because there was less foul baiting. It's a different, it's a different player, different stuff. I'm not criticizing the if it works, it works. It's just,
you play the game. You've got to play the game that's in front of you.
Yes. I just felt that Cooper was getting hit too hard tonight. I was very frustrated.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, we're going to go to break, and then we're going to be right back to talk about what is
trade deadline.
Yeah. So if you want to support the show, there are 3 ways, literally links you can give to us. We will accept donations. Listen to the ads, and then tell your friends, grow the show. We're here after every game, which is ridiculous. It took me a while to realize how stupid that was, but we started doing it during COVID when there was nothing else to do. And now 5 years later, I'm like, oh no, we've made a mistake. There will be a group therapy if anybody's interested. Thanks so much for hanging out. We will be right back. Okay. All right. We talked enough about the game. Sometimes we can talk about the game for a full half hour, but with trade deadline stuff approaching, I think we sort of owe it to the group because we don't really talk a lot of trades. Not really what we're interested in, but the Mavericks have been an obvious sell team for quite some time. And, DLLS's and Mark Stein, and he's reporting what he's told. So anybody that gets mad at what reporters are sharing based on what they hear, just understand that it's like literally their jobs to share that information and discern what they should and shouldn't share. So I appreciate Mark at least sharing what he's told. That said, the Mavericks have a $200 to $220 million salary right now, which is $1 gazillion over the cap. And they're very close to being over the second apron. And I don't understand what's going on right now. I find myself incredibly frustrated. And I want to know what you think.
They're the 4th most expensive team in the NBA this year. They're the only team. Holy crap. That can't be right. Are the Kings also that expensive? Oh, good Lord.
Are they?
I don't know. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong thing. No, there we go. I was looking at the wrong thing. All right. Mavericks are the 4th most expensive team in the NBA. They're the only team in the top 4 that has a losing record. The Clippers are right behind them, but the Clippers are probably going to make the play-in even after the trades they made. So the Mavs and the Clippers are the only teams in the top 10 with losing records, and the Clippers have kind of turned. Like, I don't think the Clippers will have a losing record by the end of the season.
Right.
They're 23 and 26. The Mavericks will have a losing record by the end of the season. So to be the fourth most expensive team with being this bad. We've talked about this before. It's untenable. You can't, the way the CBA is structured, the way the rules are, because every time I say this, people are like, well, why do you care about the owner's money? Who cares?
Don't.
It's not your money. And it's like, no. They can't, it affects, it's not, I don't care about plan powder and cap space. Like, you need this room because the rules are so restricted. You can't do trades. You can't fill out the bottom end of your roster. It makes it harder to do. Trying to find under the radar free agency signings is harder when you're this limited with the tools on your tool belt. Like, that's what it is. It's harder to build the team because you can't, like, the rules just constrict you so much and penalize you when you're this expensive. So
I mean, we saw that the Celtics are a great kind of counterexample because their salary, they're apparently close to like $510 million of obligations before the year started.
Yeah,
they've wound everything all the way back because they just moved off so many pieces.
Yeah, and look what they're able to do. Like, I'm not saying that's the reason why that they're as good as they are. Like, it's the players, a lot of the players that they already had, but they're able to make moves. I don't think are they able to make that Vucevic trade today if they were as expensive as they were to end the season last season? I don't think so. Like, I don't think they're able to make that trade. So it's more about like roster building stuff, not, oh, I want to save the owner's money. Like, I don't care. Like, if there weren't these restrictions, it wouldn't matter. Like, this wouldn't matter at all. But there are restrictions, and it becomes harder to build a team when you're this expensive. So the Mavericks either have to be this expensive and better, or this bad and cheaper. You can't be bad and expensive in the NBA. So we'll see. We've got what, 30 hours. I don't know how many hours it is till the trade deadline.
It's Thursday at 2 p.m. That's when the trades have to be.
We could bluster and be like, why aren't they doing anything? And then, in the next 24 hours, they trade 3 guys. Like, who knows? The Utah trade for Jaren Jackson Jr. today came out of literal nowhere to me. Like, I haven't heard any national guy talk about that leading up to it. So maybe something happens. What?
There were a lot of trades today. Obviously, James Harden, there's a multiple. We're not going to go over the trades, but today reminded me of us sitting here in the summer free agency 2019 after Luka's rookie year, after they had taken in Kristaps Porzingis, and they had the ability that offseason based on the order, because they had a lot of guys bird rights. They had some, what I kept referring to as artificial cap space, where they had the ability to sign free agents and then sign their guys into bird rights.
Sign Kristaps to his new contract. Yeah. And
they did not do this. They did nothing. And they did nothing because Donnie Nelson, and I think this is fair to say, Donnie Nelson is a historically great figure for both basketball and for Dallas Mavericks basketball. By that point, he was not good. He was actually actively bad. And Mark Cuban's unwillingness to move on from him probably really set the Mavericks back. And so I'm thinking about that it's obviously free agency versus trade deadline, very different situations. But I just think we've not talked about this a lot, but the biggest problem the Dallas Mavericks have right now is they have not expressed any coherent strategy whatsoever, other than it's pretty clear Patrick Dumont wants to see Cooper Flagg with Kyrie Irving and Anthony Davis. That's the only thing we know.
Yeah, and that's what happens when you don't have a GM. They've got 2 co-interim GMs. The owner is not someone that reporters are well sourced with, which I think also makes the trade chatter a little harder to decipher,
which is why we could be dead wrong.
Right, because before it was Cuban and everyone would they would all just text Cuban and be like, "Hey, what's happening?"
And he never shut the heck up. Look at me trying not to curse. I'm trying. Now they're really trying.
That was actually good. The heck is a great substitute there. I'm proud of you. But now there's like, how many NBA reporters are close ties to Patrick
Brad
Dumont?
Townsend's the only one who's actually spoken to him. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
pretty sure.
Yeah, I think so. So it's a bad combination of they technically don't have a GM. And they have an owner that isn't as sourced around the league like some of the other owners that are, whether they're longtime owners and people have built up sourcing, or they come from backgrounds that they already kind of had connections there. So, yeah, maybe something happens and we don't know, because I think no one really knows, and because I don't think anyone is close enough to know now. But also this is kind of why, like, I come back to, like, they fired Nico. When did they fire Nico?
They fired him on like the 12th or 11th of November.
Like, this is why you do this when the season ends and you get all these ducks. Like, the idea that this trade deadline could be compromised because they need to stand pat, because they need to wait for the new GM. Because it's clear right now they haven't hired a new GM because whichever GM that they're interested in is probably working for another team, and they can't offer that person a contract till the season ends, till the league calendar year turns over. So it's clear that they're waiting for the season to end to actually interview the guy that they want to interview and offer a contract. But that's why you do that. You do all this in the summer. You fire Nico before the draft. You get a GM in there before the draft, and then you go in, and then you're well set, and your organization kind of has a clear path to move forward and how they want to rebuild. Right now, it just feels up in the air, and maybe we'll have a better idea in a day or two, because maybe they will make some trades that we're not expecting. Because if I had to bet, I would say like maybe there's like maybe one trade, and I thought it was going to be Gafford, and then he gets hurt in this game, which I know pissed you off, or pissed off a lot of people, rightly so. But like, I don't know. There's just nothing out there for me to glom onto. I just have to kind of guess and speculate, which I hate. Well, but the thing that I know is like this interim GM thing going through a trade deadline, that can't be good.
No,
that has to make things harder, right?
Well, somebody shared a tweet with me today where it's like, can't wait for the story after the trade deadline where it's a bunch of unnamed sources saying they didn't know who to talk to within the Mavs organization. And that was sort of the hallmark of the post-Cuban era. Some of the first things we started to hear whispered out was how every time with the Mavericks, no one knew who to call, whether it was Raulabal Vulgaris, Cuban himself, Carlisle even, and then Donnie Nelson. And of course, they just end up in this really weird spot. And that seems to be what could be going on right now, just being perfectly honest. Now, I'll also say that it gives me, and I think I'm going to speak for a lot of fans here. I don't normally issue statements like this, but seeing if Klay Thompson, Daniel Gafford, Najee Marshall are like guys who are going to play or who are on the trade block, why on earth are they playing tonight? Of course, you could look at me and say, well, why are they playing any of these nights? They have to play some games. Okay.
Why this one, though?
Why this one? The trade deadline. It's the last game before the trade deadline. We already saw Anthony Davis go down because he's made of paper mache, and they should have moved him before, yada, yada, yada. Shout out to Brian Windhorst for that amazing 5-second spot about how the Cavs made a call about him, whatever. But we're just sort of in this point where you see Gafford crumple to the ground again because he's just not really built to play more than 50 games of professional basketball either. I think we've sort of learned that about him. And I just start openly questioning what everyone is doing here. I am not a professional basketball analyst or a health expert or any of this stuff, but there comes a point in time in so many sports fandoms where you're looking at this going, well, I could do a better job because I just would do the obvious thing. And the Mavericks for such a long time have had this institutional arrogance. It does not matter who is in charge, whether it was Cuban, whether it's Dumont, doesn't matter. The coach, the GM, it does not matter. They've had this institutional arrogance that they know what's best because they think that Luka Doncic and Cooper Flagg are something they did. Drives me fucking crazy. Luka, I just said I wouldn't curse, and here I am. Luka overcame a lot of the Mavericks nonsense to get them into the finals at the expense of a lot of assets that the team had to go to fix earlier mistakes. They don't have any things to mess up now, and they're still messing up. I don't understand this. Like, for everyone that's like, oh, it's not that big a deal. When we're like looking at Cooper year 4 and the Mavericks don't have anything, and he's It's okay. You cover the first, 8 years of a guy. You can really hold him down. We had these same conversations about Luka, and no one seems to remember them. And now Luka's not a Maverick. Like I hate seeing history repeated. Stop making the same fucking mistakes, Dallas Mavericks. It's not that hard. It really isn't.
Yeah. It makes you question, like, how active are they in discussions right now if Gafford and, like, if these guys are playing tonight? Like, if those conversations are serious, wouldn't those guys be like, if something was about to happen, then this is me just speaking out my ass. But you would think if something was about to get over the finish line, you would not play these guys in the last game before the deadline. So the fact that they played, it's either, are they just incompetent, like just playing these guys that they're about to trade and potentially ruining a trade if something like what happened to Gafford. Like, imagine if Gafford wasn't able to get back on the floor. And I almost wondered, did they get him back on the floor just to be like, hey, he's fine. Now, let's talk a deal. How about that late first? Or the other side of it is they're playing because the trade talks aren't that serious and there isn't something close to the finish line. So why does it matter if they play? Because if they get hurt, because there's nothing close. So either one is bad. So I'll choose to just wait and see. Like, I could just look really silly in 24 hours. Maybe they trade like
I
three
would
guys.
prefer that. That's always my take. Is like, I would rather be mad at them and then be proven wrong. And unfortunately, over the course of time with this franchise, they've largely proven my skepticism correct. And they've made a deal at 7 or 8 straight deadlines. So I just don't have it in me to truly think they won't do anything, but it doesn't seem very promising right now. And it's just so wild to me based off of what you mentioned earlier about the finances. Like, it's not a like, I expect them to go get talent, but it's like, I get the feeling that most fans don't understand how hamstrung the team is. Like, they do. They owe $30 million in luxury tax payments already. That skyrockets to $90 million, what they would owe at the end of the 2026-27 season if they do nothing. And the problem is, and you've said this, but it's worth saying again, if they do nothing, their ability to do other things becomes almost impossible. And then they have to add assets to get off contracts, which they don't have any to add.
Yep. It's not ideal. And everyone thinks like, well, why trade him? Why trade Anthony Davis for, a quarter of his value just to get off his contract? Like, a lot of people, I've seen the sentiment. A lot of fans just like, well, if you're going to get a bad deal, you should just run it back. And I don't know, like, the idea that this team will be healthy enough to make a difference is just like, I can't even, it's like someone telling me like, no, don't worry, the sky is green. It's going to turn green tomorrow. Trust me. It's like, what? Like, I can't, like, they'll be healthy next year is just such a foreign language now to me. Like, it doesn't exist in this reality. And I don't know how many realities it will exist. Like, there's just too much evidence of these guys. So, God bless you if you're that optimistic that you think, Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving and PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively and all these guys that haven't been able to stay on the floor consistently for the last 18 to 24 months are all of a sudden going to put it together. And that's great. I don't want to rain on your parade, but like, there has to be, I'm sure they're having them internally. There has to be some real conversations. Like, we know that they're smart. Like the people that the Mavericks hired, they're some of the cap guys they hired. I mean, even Matt Riccardi was very well respected before he got to Dallas. Finley, I think we've respected with some of the moves he's had influence on, kind of taking more charge on the draft, which they have been more successful in the draft, like post Donnie. And I don't know if that coincides with more input from Finley. I don't know. I just, I'm sure that they're talking about this. The reports say that they're talking about this. So if nothing happens, I mean, that would be shocking, and we can get back on here and yell on the screen, but we'll see. Yeah. Anyway, that's just me voicing my kind of generalized frustrations. I look forward to be proving wrong and eating my words.
Some weird stuff happening out west. I was not moved by a single trade made today. A lot of sound and fury signifying nothing. I do think it was pretty funny that everyone was so concerned that a Giannis hold would be like the dam, and if a Giannis trade happened, then lots of other trades would happen. And instead, there's just been everyone says, all right, screw this. We're moving around these guys. I just think once you get to like the guys that are making $60 million a year, you can't. They can talk about how they want to be traded all they want. It can't actually happen.
Yeah, it's really hard.
Yeah, it's really hard.
Probably good to notice that the Pistons traded Jaden Ivey and got Kevin Huerter back. And I know there's no rumors tying it specifically, but that has been like, I've been saying this for a while.
It's so funny. Huerter can't shoot. Not anymore.
I know.
He's had a bad couple of years.
I know. But that was my like, Detroit and Klay Thompson seemed like a perfect fit in terms of what Detroit needs to get them over the hump or to solidify their team. And now that they've made that trade, I mean, maybe they could still trade for Klay. You can never have enough shooting, but that kind of feels like they've chosen to go that way, which, yeah.
That's right. Okay. Well, why don't you go edit stuff? We've got multiple things coming up to Mavs Moneyball. Yeah, who knows? If nothing happens during the trade deadline is on the same day as the next Mavericks game. So we will talk about those things after that next recap on Thursday night. If you want to hang out for group therapy, more than happy to talk about it. Me and my homie Ash Boying will attempt to not talk about UIL redistricting for high school athletics because that's not something anyone wants to hear except for I love high school sports. They're so fun to go watch. But yeah, so we'll hang out and talk a little sports in here. Josh, thank you so much for coming on again. We'll talk soon. Everybody be good and go Mavs. Hello, my fellow nerds. Welcome to Pod Mavericks Group Therapy. I'm Kirk Henderson. You are joining me live. This is our after party. After the first podcast, we do a second one. So if you want to talk a little basketball, I am here to talk basketball with you. Or in the case of me and Mavs Moneyball contributor Sudar Shan, we're just going to talk about the Godzilla trailer for several minutes. Hope everyone is excited for that. Patrick's coming up first. Patrick, what's up tonight, buddy? You're always so good at being first in here. It's killing me.
Oh yeah, if you're not first, you're last. So here I am. This was another passive watch for me, honestly, in second half as well. Like I looked down and like Cooper at 35, I was like, oh shit, I guess I should watch this. So I don't really have a lot to say about this game in particular.
Sure.
Again, but I'll come at you with actual notes. I have a little dry erase board now, so now I can take real good notes and not flip between. Yeah. All right. So here are some of my thoughts. Let's see which order. So Gafford got hurt, but you said he came back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
So we'll see how real that is. Yes. Extremely stupid to play him if he's going to be traded. I was convinced he was going to be traded, so I hope that still happens. But cool, whatever. We can move on from that. As a fan, and I urge other fans, don't sweat our position in Tankathon. I think we're locked into that 7 to 9 range, just looking at how horrendous the teams are below that. And there's a bit of
our road record is real bad. Like I would not put anything past this Mavericks team. Our road record, and they have 8 or 9 more road games than they do home games the rest of the way. It's very difficult to say what. I tend to agree with you just based on the way things are going, but I just think it's pretty. It could get a little shocking to us.
I think at best we'll stay on pace, negative pace, I guess, with the teams in that 1 to 5 range, but they already have that lead or negative lead, so I don't think we're catching up.
Sure.
But and I haven't started diving deep into draft stuff, but people seem pretty confident you'll be able to find a game changer, or like a good cornerstone piece 1 through 10.
I think
so
there's
I'm not
optionality there. I think that's right. Like there's many. One of the things that our draft staff is concerned about is guys that are the guards actually rising up the ranks, because I think we're all kind of in agreement that if you got Flagg, the next thing you need is a more ball. It's like, as much as I've enjoyed watching Luka Light from Cooper, that's not how the Mavericks should play with Cooper. Cooper should be a play finisher and a defensive monster. He shouldn't have to score 36 points. He should be part of a team that scores a bunch of points. So I think there are lots of table setters in this upcoming draft that are also really capable scorers.
I saw a really funny graphic today that like said, I'm sure it was like an AI thing, but it like it was like, which lineup is most like the Dallas Mavericks lineup? Which lineup in history is most like the Dallas Mavericks lineup? And it used us, like, if healthy, and it was like 2005 76ers. So it was like AI was still there. AI's Kyrie, Iguodala's Cooper Flagg, Klay Thompson is Kyle Korver. I don't remember the rest, but I thought that was really funny.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, okay. Lottery, Gafford injury. Do you think Cooper missed the All-Star game because he's a rookie, or because he's in the West, or neither?
The West. I mean, you go look at the Eastern Conference All-Stars and it's just kind of sad. But I'm okay with Cooper not making it. The Mavericks are too far back. I mean, the Lakers shouldn't have 2 picks, but LeBron exists. So what are you going to do? It's just, you run out of space at a certain point.
Yeah, that's kind of been the story of my entire NBA life, is the East being vastly worse than the West.
The whole time, basically since 1998.
Yeah. So, and we'll, yeah, because that's when Dirk came into the league, obviously. So I don't think this trade deadline is going to feature a trade, even if Giannis is moved, is going to change the fate of whoever wins the title this year. I think the last time in my memory that a trade like that did tip the balance, and I don't think it was super obvious at the time, was the Rasheed Wallace one day that he played for the Hawks. Oh, yeah. I think he played a game for them. I know that's a very coveted collectible item, is a Hawks Rasheed Wallace jersey. Yeah. Now, if healthy, AD could be that for someone, but that's not happening. And so I think we're kind of in a. I know that the OKC Thunder were like big front runners early on, but I kind of think we're in an NFL playoff situation with the NBA playoffs, where it really could be any like top 4 seed in either conference if they just get hot at the right time. And health. Honestly, health is probably just going to be the determining factor, as I feel like it has been for the last 10 years in the NBA.
Sure.
And then for the old school Maverick segment, I come from a soccer family, or football, I guess. They are Barcelona people. I don't care, but my favorite basketball player came from Real Madrid, so there you go. So I asked my dad, name a Mavericks player, and I had no idea what he was going to come up with. He said Cherokee Parks, a name I remember because it's a weird name. And so I looked him up. This dude was drafted 12th, and we kept him for like a season and a half or 2 seasons. So tell me anything you know about Cherokee Parks. I guess he just sucked right away. Why did we draft him? Why did we move him? Who was in charge of drafting during this time? Was it Don Nelson, or was he still with the Warriors then? Who the hell is this guy?
I may have to bring Ash Boying up on stage early to answer this, because I kind of became a Mavericks fan in Dirk's second year. So even I wasn't really around enough for this, but it is so funny where it's like, wait, can you imagine an NBA team trading a top 15 pick in their second season nowadays? Like, that just sounds wild. And yet here we are. Ash Boying, can I bring you up and let you lecture us?
Yeah, I'll pop off. Oh, what? You can have more than one person? Well, that was my last thing. So
I have like 19 people up here. It's fine. I just don't do it, and I can't manage you crazy people.
All right, I'll hear out the parks discourse, and then I'll pop off.
Okay.
All right. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you sound good.
Yes.
Okay. Cherokee Parks was supposed to be the next Christian Laettner.
Mm.
Which He played for Duke. He was supposed to be the next Christian Laettner. He came to Dallas. He really wasn't that good, and so they just pretty much got rid of him.
So we're good at drafting white folks.
Well, he was in the Uwe Blop, Bill Winnington draft era.
Okay.
So, he it just we weren't really good at drafting then because they had Randy White that kind of busted out. Who was supposed to be the next Karl Malone.
Hey, we drafted the Jays, the 3 Jays during that era.
Well, that's true, but those were kind of no-brainers. You had the second pick, and actually Jim Jackson Jr. almost didn't play for the Mavericks.
He held out such a long time.
Yeah. Well, I forgot what I was going to say about Cherokee Parks, but
that's okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But I wanted to say, and then I'll pop off. I got to look up that draft and see who we passed on to draft that guy. Y'all have a good night.
You too, buddy. All right, you can go ahead and stay on up here, Mr. Ashpoint.
Okay.
What's going on?
Well, the first thing I got to tell you is enjoy all those trips to Plano and Richardson because
I am excited because that's closer to my house. That means I can go see a lot more games.
Okay, well, I did not know that, but
because I live in like Garland Richardson, so it's like it actually makes going and seeing because I'm in that nexus between Plano and Allen, so like I just have a great corridor to go see high school sports.
Okay, so also Coppell, your alma mater, they're going to win their district almost every year because that district is
not good,
not the best football district in the world. So,
what'd you think of tonight?
Okay, so here's what I thought of tonight. I thought that we've got one guy that can score, and everybody else just kind of watches him and hopes that he can score enough to keep us in the game, and that's kind of how I feel. Whereas Boston's got at least a couple of guys that can score. I mean, Pritchard was able to put the ball in the basket a little bit, and I guess when Simons is there, he's able to put the ball in the basket a little bit too. But he obviously was unavailable tonight because of the trade. It seems to me that there's a lot of standing around saying, "Wow, look what Cooper can do." And while that's fun for me, it doesn't win basketball.
I've been talking to 2 dudes on Twitter during this whole thing where we're basically playing like Luka is on the team. And I think it's a good learning experience. But if we as a collective basketball culture think heliocentric basketball is extraordinarily difficult to make work, why on earth is this what we're doing? And the answer is quite clear. Kid is institutionally tanking. And so I don't know what to do with that. Do you know what I mean? Because I think it's probably the correct move. Because he did this with Giannis. This is one thing he did do with Giannis. I think a lot of his Giannis praise is overhyped bullshit, but it's like just giving Giannis the ball and getting out of the way had some value. But at the same time, by like season 4 of that happening, it's like, okay, well the Bucks are still at 50, they're still at 500 winning percentage. So it's like, what do we do? Anyway.
Yeah, and I'm now thinking that maybe a Gafford for Matherin trade might not be a bad idea. I've been kind of doing a little bit of a deep dive into Matherin, and while he shoots the 3 okay, he doesn't shoot the 3 as well as Christie. He gets to the line so much for a guy that does what he does. And if you can't shoot the 3, if you can get to the free throw line, those are 3 points, really. I mean,
yeah.
Because I was looking at Cooper's line at halftime. He had like 16 points on 14 shots. Not a real great efficiency number, okay? But then he had like 10 free throws in the second half, and all of a sudden you look at his line, and it's like, okay, he's got 36 points on 24 shots. It's a pretty good efficiency number. So, it's if you're not going to shoot the 3, you better get to the line. And so that was kind of a tale of 2 different types of.
Well, he should have gotten to the line. Like, this is a game where Flagg could have had 20 free throws. It was stupid. They just weren't calling fouls in the first half.
They don't call fouls. They don't call fouls for Cooper at all.
No.
Okay.
Drives me crazy.
He's getting the rookie whistle, and that's all well and good. And it makes me wonder. That shot against the Rockets a couple of games ago. I thought that at the end of the game I thought Thompson probably fouled him. I think that he gets that whistle next year, okay, because he's not going to be a rookie next year. But he didn't get the whistle, the other night because he's a rookie, and that's just being a rookie. You got to pay your dues. I understand that, okay. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention in that Rockets game, did you see that play? I guess it's not a play. Did you see that athletic feat that Musa Cisse did in the Rockets game?
Oh yes, Josh was so excited. He's like, he's now my new favorite player.
Shot. Yes, where he blocked that shot and then did the ninja flip up. I mean, in a second.
He's an enormous man. He that was really nuts.
That was crazy to me. I mean, that just kind of shows what kind of an athlete that guy is. But I mean, if you can harness that, more power to you. But I remembered I wanted to talk to you about that, and I forgot to mention it. However, I just think that the more I think about it, the more I think you're right. Is that they are just institutionally tanking. The other thing that I think is the reason that they're not making a trade. Dumont got called stupid, okay, for the trade last year, okay, and so now we've got kind of paralysis by analysis because Dumont does not want to look stupid again, okay. So he's I'm not gonna make any trades because I don't want to be called a basketball idiot. When all along people are calling him a basketball idiot because he won't make a trade.
Right. Because I don't think that he has accepted yet that it is a sunk cost and that there's no winning and where you might move on. Like you get these folks on social media who think I hate Anthony Davis, and that's not really accurate. I mean, I kind of do, but it's more of what he represents. And until you move on from Anthony Davis and until you just sort of start fresh, this just lingers. I mean, something like this is always going to linger. It's in every sports conversation that comes up from now until for the rest of my life. It really
will. I think it stops if you win a championship, but that's the only thing that stops it.
If it happens within Luka's tenure in the league, I think that might be true. Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't
know, but it's just tough. It's so stupid because, this team, one of the things that I just can't get past is like one of the things the Mavericks fail to understand with Luka and with Cooper is that they did the hard part. They lucked into generational talent.
Oh, yes.
And once you do that, you've got like your margin for it. You would think that once you do that, your margin for error increases. Not so. Decreases. So the Mavericks got to figure some stuff out now.
Well, it's also a moral imperative that when you do get that generational talent, you do what you have to do to get that guy over the finish line. I mean, if you look at it, I mean, almost every team that LeBron's ever been on, they kind of destroyed their future with trades because, hey, what do we need to do to get him over the finish line here? Okay, we've got this once, and I'm willing to trade a championship for 3 or 4 years of ugliness, while we rebuild. I mean, I think everybody would do that. So it's kind of a moral imperative that you just do what you need to do to get that team over the finish line. Which, as much as we hate Nico, he kind of understood that a little bit his first year here when he made the trade for PJ and he made the trade for Gafford, and everybody was like, oh, you're giving away these pick swaps, and what happens if you're bad? And my response to that was, well, as long as Luka's on the team, you're never going to be drafting outside the 20s.
Yeah.
So it's not that big of a deal. Okay.
Yep.
Now we're not outside the 20s anymore. I mean, we're not going to draft, in the 20s anymore. And now that 2028 pick swap looks like genius from Sam Presti when it was really idiocy. However, you do what you have to do to get those generational guys to the finals, because then those generational guys can take you all the way, more often than not, can take you all the way home.
Yep.
So, I mean, but you can't sit there and not make a decision because you feel like you're going to look stupid, because that makes you look stupid for not making a decision.
That's right. So, oh well, kind of get it out of the way. Oh shoot, Frank dropped off. Well, hey man, thanks for hanging out. You got anything else?
No, other than the fact that, now I will tell you, those Richardson and Plano teams, they're pretty good at basketball. So,
Well, they get school choice here, so they all kind of tend to go to one school.
Right.
So,
oh, in Richardson, they all go to one. They have school choice.
I think that's right. It's very confusing to me. In my neighborhood, I see all 3 high school street sign, like for the different clubs and such. So,
but Richardson's beaten Geyer in the playoffs a couple times in the past few years, so they're not bad. So,
high school basketball is a riot. It's even more of a riot than high school football because the games are over in 70 minutes, and it's like all sorts of crazy stuff going on. All right, man. We'll talk soon.
All right, buddy. Bye.
All right, bye. Okay, I'm going to insert some ads here. Y'all know the drill. Support the show, et cetera, et cetera. I'll be right back with Sudarshan and then Michael, and then I'll close out with Killicam. Oh, Frank's back. Frank gets to jump the line. All right, be right back. All right, thanks for waiting. I'm going to bring Frank up since I saw him hop off, and then I'm going to go him, Michael, Sudarshan, and then Killicam because I just appreciate folks hanging out. Frank, what's up, man?
What's going on, man? Can you hear me?
I can. What you thinking tonight?
Man, I'm just getting sucked back into this team. I never left like that, I feel like the only thing that was really affected by me was just like the amount of content that I ever consumed.
Sure. Yeah.
Going back to the playoff run we had a couple years ago. I mean, I'm staying up till 2 a.m. needing to consume everything. It's just so, it's just appointment TV, and that's what this dude is, man. Flagg, he's just appointment TV. I don't find myself caring at all about the results. I'm all about losing right now for the sake of preserving top 10 pick. But yeah, man, it's just nice to, and that wasn't something that it just dawned on me. I was like watching tonight, just like, damn, this kid he's giving me that same. Once the Mavericks traded away Barnes and DeAndre, and they really gave Luka the reins.
Yep.
Which kind of feels like it's happening now, but it's happening obviously due to injury instead of just
right
hitting him. And it makes me wonder, say AD comes back and say Kyrie talks the organization into letting him play, say, the last 10 games of the year just to get some blood flowing to the legs and not having to sit out, 20 calendar months. I wonder if they still play through him. Maybe his, obviously his usage is probably almost twice as high as it's been ever,
yeah,
on average since AD's been out. But it would just be nice to see what that looks like, what he looks like, Hopefully he's not going back just to being like a passenger and kind of just standing around and watching. Because right now as a rookie, he the game still probably is moving kind of fast for him. And when he's allowed just to have the ball move instinctually, it takes a lot of that thought process out. He ain't got to sit there and he doesn't have to stand and watch 2 superstars play and try to overly process what he should do when he gets the ball, blah, blah, blah. But anyways, fun to watch, man. I'm just super excited. He's bringing me back.
Well, good. I'm glad to have you back. Glad to hear you're still listening now and again. I don't blame anybody for taking a break.
Yeah.
I sort of judge Mavs fans' interests based off of my mother. I had a tweet about this the other night just because it made me laugh. She called me and she goes, "Do you know that Cooper Flagg's 19?" And I was like,
"Yeah, man."
I was like, "Yes, I do." My mom she doesn't understand any of this. She's like, "What? Did you watch the game last time?" And her name is literally Karen, which doesn't help in the annoying old white lady comments from just yes, Karen.
Beautiful irony.
I do. Anyway.
Yeah. Also, it was good to hear you on the KOC show. That was good. That was good dialogue, man.
Good. I'm glad people like that. Kevin and I are old friends, but sometimes we struggle to talk on actual shows because it's a little more produced.
Wait, man, that guy's got a decent national platform, and it's cool to see you, and he's had Slightly on. He seems to be, not, he seems pretty even kill. So
he also likes basketball, which is kind of a shocking thing to say, where it's what do you mean a basketball person likes basketball? So a lot of people get really burnt out on this shit after a while. So it's fun to have him on. But yeah, man, thanks so much for listening. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. I'll let you go on that note, man. Have a good night.
All right. Talk to you. Bye. All right, coming up next is Michael. How you doing, Michael?
Hey, Kirk, can you hear me?
I can. You sound good. What's going on?
Yeah, so speaking of taking a break, it's been a long time since I called in, but yeah, I just had a couple of things I wanted to bounce off of you. So actually, I'm not sure whether you've spoken about this either on the pod or with others who jumped on, but did you get a chance to take a look at like some of Kid's quotes before the game and also after the game?
Tonight, no. What did he do?
There was one about like Najee. You were talking about the trade deadline. He was asked about the trade deadline, and he was like, "Yeah, we heard that Najee loved being a Mav, but he could get traded." And then it was just like, I don't think there's any other coach that would just kind of just say that. Then he also have, I think, post game, he was asked about Gafford, and he was like, yeah, so it was good to see him come back from the game, and because usually he doesn't come back, so it was good to see him come back for once. And I'm just like, I'm just having a hard time just understanding like how he has like this reputation as a player's coach, because he just seems like such a dick all the time, and like I don't know, I just don't understand it.
I got into an argument with the voice of the Mavs, Chuck Cooperstein, who. And I want to make this clear. I love the fact that Coop actually engages with people in an honest manner. He will respond to tweets. He is a good dude. But
yeah, he's very active. Like I think he even responded to me once, and it was like during halftime or something.
He really will, man. He's a good dude. But he was like full-fledged defensive Kid the other day, and he's like, "Haven't you ever had a bad moment?" And I'm like, man, we followed Kid. Kid has been a part of my life since I was 12 years old. Like, we know who this guy is. He is a brilliant, borderline sociopath who is very good at the things he chooses to be good at. Unfortunately, I get the direct feeling that he is the shadow GM in this entire operation. All of it. And that just doesn't feel good to me because I don't think he can do that job. That's why.
Well, okay. So about that's actually kind of what I wanted to talk about mainly, is just like the whole idea of Kid as GM. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if you talked about like, I think like Tim McMahon, he had that like really squirrely answer on Locked On.
I love that.
He's like, that's a great idea. And I'm like, okay. Like he was like paused for like 10 seconds right before that. And I was just like, okay, he's saying a lot in what he's not saying.
That's right.
And then like, I don't know. And like we all know his history with like what he did with like the Nets and the Bucks, and it's just, I don't know. I think
a lot of people don't. It's funny you say that, Michael, because a lot of people don't, because a lot of that stuff happened over 10 years ago. And
yeah, that's true.
There's just reporting out there where if you were a casual fan before Luka was drafted, I don't judge that, because sometimes it takes someone to bring you in. But Jason Kidd's tenure with the Nets and the Bucks were not good. He was not a viable NBA coach until Jeannie Buss made him an assistant to try to for whatever reason there with the bubble Lakers. And then he became the Mavericks head coach, because Mark Cuban doesn't know how to do anything other than rehire people he's hired before.
There's a lot of palace intrigue with his teams.
Every time.
Yeah. And I mean, a very, very small part of me is kind of fascinated with how that would actually look if he did like become one of those like old like player coach or GM coaches like in the old like pop, or like when like Tibbs I think was that for a while, like 10 years ago, and then it fell out of vogue because it's like pretty much impossible to do both responsibilities at once. But like we do know that he can sniff out if a player is just like not cut out for like winning, like D'Lo, Christian Wood, and so part of me just kind of thinks, okay, well maybe he can kind of translate that to like a GM context, and then like, you know, I don't know. And then tied in with that is just the whole, you know, we don't know what his responsibility was in the Luka trade. Like, and it's like, if he becomes GM, there's absolutely no way that Luka would even, like, maybe it's like a 1% chance that he would come back in 2028. if Kid is there, there's like no chance at all. Yep. And it's like I do have that. It's like I don't know whether he was just like the evidence behind him being responsible is that Luka pretty much treats him like he doesn't exist.
I think responsible is probably strong. This is what I was actually arguing with Coop about, where I'm just like, at a certain point, I have to trust Luka Doncic's instincts.
Right.
Like where he blames everyone. He blames Nico and Kid and Dumont. And so it's like, at a certain point, you just have to go, like, I trust that guy. Coop always is telling me, oh, you got to understand that Kid had nothing to do with this. And it's like, I watch Kid's dealings. I mean, a wonderfully named in the chat, Psycho Paul 70 or Paul Psycho 78 says that, Brooklyn was nuts. And that's basically correct. And so was the Bucks were less nuts only because no one gives a shit about the Bucks. But if you read the Giannis book by Miran Fader, she shares all this stuff about how Kid was treating the players.
Oh yeah, like Larry Sanders or something. Like he nearly ruined Larry Sanders' career or something.
No, he nearly killed. Like Larry Sanders was like borderline suicidal. Like it was bad. And it's really unfortunate. And like Sanders has since kind of talked around it because he'll pop in the media from time to time. It's like, I understand Kid's going to be the coach. I understand I can't get him fired. I have no interest in that sort of like terminology and that sort of behavior from me. It's not what I want to talk about in terms of covering basketball. But like to act like these things didn't happen, that's where I get so annoyed with the way where it's just like Kid knows exactly what he's doing. That whole thing the other night was an instance of him flexing his ability to control the narrative when he wants to, which quite genius, if I'm being honest. But it was just so weird to me. He's during Summer League, I don't know if I've actually said this on a podcast. There was a scrum of Mavs people, and I was like the tallest one, and I never go to these things. So it's like I was around, and like all these people around me, both sides. Kid comes over to talk to us. He shakes every person's hand but mine.
Wow.
That shit was intentional. Okay.
Wow.
It's fine. Like, fuck it. I'm an asshole. I don't care. I don't need to shake his hand. I don't want to be friends with these people. But it's just like this guy knows what he's doing is my overarching point. And lots of people seem to want to be like, well, you can't judge someone you can't judge intentions. You don't know intentions. And I'm like, I know actions. I know people.
And we also can just see around the league how there's like we don't have this kind of like aura or drama around like all these other coaches who kind of act in anywhere near this kind of way. And I mean, like before, I think it was what like in that Lakers rematch like a week ago or so. Like, I mean, through this entire time, I was willing to give Kid the benefit of the doubt. Like, okay, maybe Luka is kind of giving the cold shoulder because maybe Kid was complaining to Nico about his conditioning, about Luka's conditioning, and then maybe that kind of helped convince Nico to go through with it. And Luka felt Kid didn't defend him enough. So that's kind of like a middle ground where like I could see, okay, maybe Kid, because to me, you can say that Kid is like a genius. He's like, he knows all about basketball. He knows what the fuck he's doing. But then, sorry, I'm not sure if
you're good, man.
Yeah.
Keep cooking.
So, he knows what the fuck he's doing. But then if you supported the trade, then that tells me you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Right? So it's like, so to me, it's like I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt by saying, okay, maybe he's just like, maybe he just didn't know what he was doing and complaining to Nico. And Nico kind of took that as like a tacit approval to go through with it. But I don't know. I'm kind of coming off of that position more and more now, just because, I mean, before the Lakers game, I saw Luka, he's like really friendly with Cuban still, like, which in Cuban, you can argue is like just as responsible for the trade, if anything, like even if in an indirect way. He even shook hands with Matt Riccardi, which is like, he was like in the front office with Nico. He was like second or third in command. And so Luka clearly doesn't have like bad feelings to Matt Riccardi. So to me, it just kind of seems like it just spoke really loudly that he still is not like chummy or he hasn't like made up with Kid at all. And it's just like, yeah, I don't know. It's, if he's the GM, it's like, or if he eventually becomes GM, which I'm like, I kind of feel like it's almost like 50-50 at this point, but because I can definitely see the reasons why it wouldn't be and also reasons why it would be. But Yeah, it's just I don't know. I'm gonna be fascinated to see what happens. I think that whoever the Mavericks bring in as GM going forward is more important than whatever they do in this trade deadline, whoever they draft.
Absolutely, Michael. That's a great point. All right.
All right. Anyways,
Hey.
I've been on for a while, so I'll go ahead and
thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
All right, talk soon. All right, Pseudo-Shan, you've been waiting. What's up, brother?
Hey, that Godzilla trailer looks whack.
I mean, that shit. No, whack. How dare you? Apple Plus stuff is incredible. I will fight you.
Whack is a good thing, Kirk.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm just old. The stuff that's on Apple Plus looks like Apple. Like, this is where money laundering goes, is through Apple Plus. Holy cow. The CGI in that trailer looked better than the movies I've seen in the last several years.
It's like they took they said fuck all that shit from the first season, all the character development. And we're just gonna make Godzilla X Kong the New Empire into a TV show.
Well, and it's aided by the fact that Anna Sawai, who was on Shogun, is just one of the most
fantastic.
She's not only is she an excellent actress, she's also just one of the most beautiful people in existence. And they like have all those shots of her like at the front of her face, just like freaking out. It's like, yes.
Yeah, and I think she has one of those extremely expressive faces, but not like cartoon-like. I don't know. It's just like you look at all the scenes and you go like, oh.
Mm-hmm. Well, what'd you think tonight, man? What do you think about the Mavericks as a whole?
I mean, first of all, I should apologize. I haven't really been coming on. I haven't been writing anything, or I haven't been really sort of contributing on.
That's why we have 30 people at Mavs Moneyball, so people can fade in and out of existence.
Yeah, work, like my real life work has been kicking my ass, so I've been sort of avoiding basketball for large parts. But yeah, I mean, I think the main thing which you and Josh hit on the pod is it's really weird following a team that looks rudderless. Like if it was Memphis or something like that, and they're hard tanking now, right? So now you're just rooting for a direction. Here we have an owner who's a bit of a bitch because he doesn't want to get fleeced again. We have Littlefinger as our shadow GM. We have two GMs who I don't know what the hell they're doing. We have Cuban who's opening his trap and just being Cuban. So it's a mess. I mean, Cooper Flagg in his post-game quote said that they don't bring up the trade deadline, or the trade deadline and people being traded hasn't come up in the locker room. Buddy, did you see your teammates play out there? Half of them looked like they knew they were in trade rumors and they did not want to be there.
I mean, in middle of like pre-trade deadline and then pre-All-Star break is often some of the worst basketball, because the guys are all uncertain, and also the ones that aren't All-Stars want to go on vacation. And so you start to see some real drag ass basketball that goes on. But I get it.
Nah, it's I don't know. I mean, I got all the anger out, I think, in the summer and over last season. Now I guess I've reached a point of zen.
I get it. We're in the fun part right now, honestly. Like the flag expectations are what should be guiding many fandoms. Everything else is kind of annoying. I went off at the end of the last podcast because I'm frustrated. But they still have time for an about face. It's like if we're in year 3 and the Mavericks are of Cooper Flagg and the Mavericks are just then shedding some of this awful salary, that's a different situation. But I just have faith for now, based on nothing. I have faith that they will figure this out in one shape or form.
I would agree to disagree there, because I feel like they don't have time, because the next few draft classes are kind of crap. from everything that Tyler and Brian and David and all of those guys, all of the real draft crazies in our chat say, it's like the 27 class and the 28 class are kind of crap. So I feel
people
like
are always like that. They're whiny. There's always great basketball players. There really are.
I'm sure there is, but I mean, well, my point is that if they were really smart, they would just pivot immediately and then just lean into this entire thing rather than trying to work out some kind of hypothetical with a dude who can't stay on the court for more than 5 games and someone with recurring knee issues. Which, I mean, we don't know what Kyrie's going to be when he comes back. This is his third knee injury, second on the same knee.
Yeah.
So
you never know with him. Like, everything feels like a bit of an adventure. I'll be worried if he doesn't play for several games, but the fact that he came back is nice.
Yeah, let's see. I don't know. I'm just gonna watch. I'm just gonna wait for the weekly episode of Shrinking, because I think that's just the perfect antidote to all of the crap that we have to deal with as sports fans. It's watching Harrison Ford be a grumpy old curmudgeon is a balm for the soul.
Yeah. It's a fun show.
It is. It really is. But yeah, that's about it, man. I mean, by the way, on the thing about whack being bad, I think that's something that I picked up from the Friends generation. There's that episode where Joey dresses up like a 19-year-old and he keeps going, "This thing is whack."
Fair. Though that show was somehow, we're not even going to discuss how long ago that show was. All right, man. Thank you so much.
22 years since it ended, Kirk.
That's right. All right, we'll talk soon, buddy. Appreciate you hanging out.
Take care, man.
All right, last but not least, the legend, Killer Cam. Thanks for hanging out, man. Sorry to make you go last. I normally get you on earlier. How you doing?
Man, I'm just so frustrated, man. Like, the fact that I feel more and more we're not going to make any trades at the deadline.
Yeah.
Because the owner, I think I truly think it's because of the owner. I like what the other guys pointed out. I think it's true, man. He doesn't want to look like a fool. He wants to win the trade, so he's gonna just wait it out. Like, I just don't. And then he stupidly wants to somehow see Coop, Kyrie, and AD together when that's never gonna happen. Or if it is going to happen for like 2-3 games tops. I'm just so frustrated with the ownership right now. Especially since I'm seeing what Cooper's doing is like, man, the fact that the owner himself doesn't want to build around him, it just makes it so frustrating.
Totally understandable to feel that way.
Yeah, man, and then, gosh, man, I just don't. And then Jason Kidd, man. I don't know. He's trying to get my nerve more and more, man. Like I'm so afraid that he's gonna become the next GM. I'm so afraid because what he's doing now is just terrible. Like I get he's trying to tank, man, but this is just. I mean, this is just ridiculous, man. But I know he can't say it because for some reason the NBA will find him, but not find the Utah Jazz. So like they made this hate some Mavericks for some reason, man. Because the fact that the Jazz pretty much just openly say that we were tanking and get 0 penalties for it. But if he even mentioned it once, they're threatening to take draft picks away. It's just ridiculous.
Sure.
No, but it's like, man, I'm just, gosh, man. Hopefully Clay goes to Detroit, man, because I think he'll be really good there. And they're in Detroit, man, and hopefully they won't sit on their hands and then trade nobody. But I'm just so afraid that they're just gonna sit on their hands because the owner's scared because he has no idea what he's doing and he thinks he knows what he's doing. I'm seeing the exact same thing with Joe Lacob with the Warriors. Like these owners just give the money to the GM and and stay out the way. Like I'm tired of these middle owners thinking they know basketball when they don't know shit about basketball. You know, so
Sure.
it's starting to get really really annoying. But we just gonna all we can do is accept it because they're the owners. It's just hopefully hopefully we can hire Philip Lindsay in the offseason and then because I do trust Philip Lindsay, you know, so whatever he does, or if he do that, then whatever happens after that. Because I do think he'll lead us in the right direction, but hopefully they don't be stupid and like sign and promote Kid and let Philip Lindsay stay in Detroit.
And we'll see. Because that sort of stuff, I don't know when that sort of stuff can happen. It seems to be that I'm wondering if it's like after the regular season ends.
I think so. Because like Detroit's going to be in the playoffs, so it's like
right.
So, but the thing is, and since he's not the main GM, I think it'll be fine because like Trajan's the main GM, so I think I think it can work. I'm just not sure exactly about the rules. You know, like if they're like if they have to wait until after the season or to hire someone from another team. But I think it should because Philip is like, is he an assistant GM or is he like an advisor?
Yeah.
So he's the assistant GM.
Here or there? Sorry.
There.
Yeah, he's the assistant there.
Okay, yeah, because he's the assistant there. So I think we can, as a regular season, I think we can hire him since he's not the main guy. You know, like I think Detroit we found that as long as he's not a distraction, you know, if he's not a distraction, I think they'll let him leave. You know, just hopefully do that and not be stupid and like let Jason Kidd trick them into being the GM/coach.
Well, I get all that. It's going to be a fun rest of the way. Well, thanks for waiting. You got anything else tonight?
No, I'm kind of just these past few games, man.
Losing sucks.
Great coup hoop, yeah, it's great coup hoop, man. But everything else is just tragic and annoying.
Yes,
like from like pregame, postgame, just outside of coop, it's just all just one big poop show, and I'm just getting really annoyed by it because it's so easily just like be professional. That's what I'm saying. Just be professional, but they're just so
right.
Yeah, just a bunch of stuff. Yeah, just a bunch of stuff.
All right, brother. We'll talk soon, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. MJ, you popped in here late. What's up, brother?
Hey, man, I'm so glad that you're staying up doing this. It's really.
I'm falling asleep. What do you got for me?
Well, I'll wake you up. Do you think? I mean, the Mavericks, they look like they're a competitive team, but do you think they're intentionally tanking or intentionally trying to lose every game?
I think that they are institutionally understand that it would be best if they lose games. And so I think Kidd understands that assignment to a degree. The only player that he's really not playing is essentially D'Angelo Russell, who keeps getting DNPs, but everybody else gets a shot. I mean, they didn't have Brandon Williams tonight. He's hurt, you know, and you look at the rest of the roster, and because they don't really have good guards, I mean, Ryan Nembhard should have sort of shown his limits at this current stage of his career.
Oh, God, yeah.
They're just they're not capable of winning a lot of games. That's not to say that they won't, but that's where we fall. Is it makes it easy enough for them to lose games, but they still play hard.
But it seems like they have a fairly decent team. I mean, would you say their roster is better than like the Wizards or Utah or some of these other teams that are not playing as well?
And that's probably why they're going to finish like in terms of like the bottom 10, they'll probably finish 7th, 8th, 9th. I mean, they have two overarching problems. The first is their lack of shooting, and then their second is their lack of playmaking from anyone. Like Flagg is the primary playmaker, and that's just not his skill set to be the primary guy, at least for right now.
Right. I think we need to get rid of AD in any way, shape, or form. What do you think?
I mean, yes, but I don't think they can because he's such a sunk cost.
Yeah, I mean anything. I mean, they were even talking on the Locked On Mavs a trade with the Hawks to get Porzingis and a couple other people and a number one pick. And I would do that as bad as Porzingis was with us, just to get him out of here.
Sure.
I mean, it just yeah, you're right though. I don't know if that's going to be done or not. But people are thinking Gafford. Do you think Gafford's going to be gone before the deadline?
He got hurt tonight, so if they managed to trade him, that would be something kind of incredible, to be honest. I just don't know what they're doing.
I tell you, and I saw that thing from Jake Fisher about the Lakers and LeBron partying, and when I heard that, I was so hoping that. I mean, yeah, everybody knows it's a foregone conclusion. He's not going to be there after the season. I mean, that's but does he have to bring down that fucking team? The whole. I swear, if he were traded or somehow just disappeared or sent home, I think the Lakers would do so much better without his negative energy and his lack of defense and his drama and all the bullshit that he fucking brings. I mean, he just completely brings down. I mean, nobody cares about him. I mean, he's old news, and and people are now saying that he's got some new steroids because now he's. This is so funny. They're docking. Playoff P 25 games because he was jumping out of the gym and scored 9 3-pointers. And fucking LeBron's been doing that the last 4 or 5 fucking years, and they've yet to drug test him. And then they drug test Playoff P the first time he does it, and then he gets docked 25 years. And rumor has it that he got that Paul what's the guy's name? Paul the guy who's suspended.
George,
yeah, Paul George. That he actually got he got that person from LeBron. The steroids.
Yeah, I don't know what. Like, if Paul George, if it comes out that he was basically taking like an SSRI or something,
yeah,
that's going to be really weird because like some of the things on that list are like Adderall. It's like, it's like the list of stuff that he could have gotten penalized for is really weird. And they're not necessarily performance enhancing. Like, there's some odd shit at play there, and it makes like there's all sorts of great conspiracy theories going around. Like, did the 76ers turn him in so that they would get under their salary cap thing? Like, just some hilarious shit.
I mean, he scored 9 3-pointers, and he hasn't probably done that in probably 7 or 8 years. So this one great game he has, he gets tested and busted. The last thing, people say, I look at people, I look at their actions, like an investigator. When he looks at somebody, a suspect, he looks to see, okay, what does this guy normally do? And on, let's say, the day that some crime occurred, he says, okay, what did this guy do on the day that crime occurred? So he looks at a pattern. He looks at if he does anything different. And when Jason Kidd blew up in that press conference post game, it made me wonder, like, okay, he's never done this. He's never stuck up for any of the players, pre-conference, post-conference, during the game, at any moment. So why the fuck did he now start cussing on a tirade and trying to defend himself? And you know what people were saying? That that he was basically trying to distract or trying to thwart, but what was happening, because that was up and coming, the year anniversary.
That was me largely throwing that out into the universe. I don't think anybody else did that other than me. But that's still my opinion. Where I'm just like,
yes, I completely agree. That's genius. I think that's exactly because he's conniving, he's calculating, and he does shit for a reason. And that's what he did. So people would talk about him instead of talking about, what happened 1 year ago. And more people, believe it or not, are thinking that he had a lot to do. He had more to do than what people think about him getting Luka out. Also, the fact that Luka, to this day, does not even fucking acknowledge his presence.
Sure.
He doesn't look at him. He doesn't even acknowledge him. He acknowledges and he intentionally does and he does it so Kid knows. He looks at everybody, he shakes everybody's hand, but Kid, he doesn't even look his way. He completely, so
Sure.
and if Luka knows, I mean, Luka's not stupid. He's got people. Those people know that Jason Kidd had a large part of him being gone. I really believe that. And Nico was the fall guy. But answer this though. How did Nico, I mean, Jason Kidd is around Luka more than Nico is. Jason Kidd's a coach. He's around him every day. He sees his habits. He sees how he practices. He sees obviously if he's in shape or not. There's no way. The only way that Nico knows this is that he's getting information from Jason Kidd. And so when Nico kept saying all this stuff about, the stuff that Luka wasn't doing, where do you think he was getting that? He was getting that from his coach.
He shows up and sees that stuff. I mean, we got to be honest a little bit about what Luka was in the regular season. Luka showed up out of shape a lot. He also got out of shape a lot. That doesn't take anything away from what he actually did because he won a lot of games. But I mean, him getting hurt on the first day of training camp last year was really bad. It was really bad. And I mean, so it just puts into question all of that stuff. And so, I'm not justifying the trade. I would never do that. But it's just it's the sort of situation where Kidd is a guy, if you're thinking about Jason Kidd only, and I think that's what we should do here, is he's survived a long time in the league.
Yes. Yes. I mean, think about it. Go back to what he did. During in a game with I think with Milwaukee to get a timeout, he intentionally spilled water on the court or something. I mean, the guy is that calculating and manipulating. And I tell you this: when people say that Luka, didn't really didn't practice enough or didn't. I mean, how did the guy get so good so quickly? That didn't just happen by happenstance. I mean, he had to practice. He had to hone on his craft. He had to, he did. Maybe he ate, steaks and ate a lot of donuts and pizza and shit that a lot of Americans do. But that dude was all about basketball. So, I mean, he's a savant. Yeah. I mean, at passing and shooting and playing. And I'll tell you this, I don't know. I mean, if AR comes back, if Reeves comes back, and if LeBron can just stay out of the way, I mean, you look at their team, but I just think LeBron just brings down their team. And I wonder if he got sent home or they should do what they did to Chris Paul. Just tell him to go home,
Can't do that. Can't do that to one of the best players of all time. But hey, man, it is too late for me. I am too tired, even though it's only 11:15.
Thank you, buddy. Take care, man.
Talk to you.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys, this has been fun. Be back on Thursday. Hopefully a weird trade deadline. Everybody be good. Talk soon. Go Mavs.